Hi, welcome back. Once again, this is Hamoneach, Perak Hamoneach. This is Shir number 3. Shir number 3, we are on Daf Chav Zayin, Amud Aleph. And today we're going to be doing from line 10, starting from Amara Papa till the next page. Just to review what the Gemara was doing until now, the Gemara asked 3 questions, but all 3 questions are really the same. Why do there are 3 Mishnayos that all switch from the word Pasak B'chad and switches to Chavis. It opens up with the word Kad and switches to Chavis. That's our Mishnah. That's a Mishnah with a barrel and a beam that break each other. One time it calls the barrel a Chavis, and then the other time it calls it a Kad. And then there's a third Mishnah that refers to a jug of honey or a jar of honey. It switches. And the Gemara's question on all 3 things is, why does it switch? Why is it Pasak B'chad, V'sayim B'chavis? So now, Rav Papa comes along and says, Hainu Kad, Hainu Chavis. That a Kad and a Chavis are really the same thing. That's what he answers, that a Kad and a Chavis is really the same thing. And therefore they could be interchangeable. And that's why the Mishnah changes. That's why the Mishnah changes to teach me it's the same thing. The Gemara says, what do you mean it's the same thing? Lamai nafka mina. Why does it mean that it is the same thing? In what halachic area do you mean that a kad is the same thing as a chavis? It can't be the size, because we know a kad is smaller than a chavis. Just a lamai nafka mina is a nice function word. It always wants to know what the halachic meaning is, and it's always a question. The Gemara answers, Lemekachu memkar. It's going to make a difference in terms of buying and selling. So if you want to buy or you want to sell, a kad and a chavis says the same thing. The Gemara then asks, if a kad and a chavis is the same thing, then hechi dami. Hechi dami is also a function word, and it literally means, how is this possible? What's this case? Explain to me what exactly is the case. So now the Gemara is going to open up and give an answer. Whenever you see the word ilema, so the word ilema is always an attempted answer. It's an answer we're going to fall off of. So the Gemara answers, or gives an attempted answer, ilema, if you say we're talking about ba'asra, a neighborhood, the kadalo kari chavis, v'chavis lo kari chad. If you're going to say we're talking about a neighborhood, that a kad, nobody calls a kad a chavis, and nobody calls a chavis a kad. Nobody calls a barrel a jug or a jug a barrel. Then how could you tell me that it's the same thing? Lo karula. They don't call it that. So you can't tell me if I ask for a barrel, you can give me a jug, or vice versa. Lo karula. They don't call it that. So the Gemara is going to give an answer now. The Gemara is going to say, lo, no, srichi, it's needed. The case is needed. Deruba kari lakada kata. Most people call a jug a jug. Ula chavita chavita. And most people call a barrel a barrel. However, v'ika nami, but there are also those people, the karu lachavita chada ulachada chavita. There are some people, a minority, let's say, I don't know, throw numbers out, 10%, that there are those that call a barrel a kad and a kad a barrel. There are those, you have that small minority that call it that. So now, mahu detema, what would you say? Well, mahu detema zil basaruba. What would you say? That you would follow the majority. Again, ma'udatem is also a function word. Ma'udatem, what would you have thought? What would you have said? Zil, go, basaruba, and let's follow the majority. And following the majority, which would mean that if I asked you for a barrel and you give me a jug, well, the majority would say, that's it. You have to give me a barrel. I asked for a barrel. And you cannot go ahead and give me a jug. So the Gemara to this answer, answers on the other page, the top line of the next page, Kuf Mem Lamed stands for Ka Mashmalan. It comes to teach me the ein holchin b'mamon achar harov, that you don't follow the majority when it comes to matters of mammon, when it comes to matters of money. And since there is a legitimate minority, a few people that do call a jug a barrel and a barrel a jug, they can say, I am part of that minority, and he can give them a jug in place of a barrel, because it's really the same thing. That's what Rav Papa said, Hainu kad, Hainu chavis. And if you wanted a jug, and you said jug, and you wanted a jug, or a barrel, and you want a barrel, so in such an area, you have to be more specific.